Hello guys, good evening. Um, I know this is a long due video that I am putting out. I actually already worked on it like a couple days ago, but I've just been very busy with school and life generally, basically. So yeah, I haven't really had time to make the YouTube video and put it. And also I've been looking for like a more quiet space where I could make videos because my roommates are back now, so like the room is full and it's harder to make videos with like two to three other people in the room. I mean, I can't tell them not to have conversations, but anyway, that's by the side. I found a common room that I can use, so let's get into it. So last video we were working on the messaging aspect, which is basically what we had already done previously was the send message, this send message, get chats, I get chats, and then I think our open chats also. We already worked on those three, so um, let's get out into um, the new views that we worked on. So first view that I worked on, or the latest function that I worked on. One of the latest functions that I worked on was the edit message functionality. So basically, what we wanted to do was that if you send a message to a person, if the message is over a day, do not allow the person to edit the message. So like if I send a message to you and the message has surpassed the day, do not allow me to edit that message that I have sent. So as usual, our Swagger auto schema for our documentation method is patch. Our request body is update message serializer. If we come into this serializers for um, the messaging application, it is show it is it was loading, but now it has loaded. Update message serializer. So the model that it uses is our message, and the only field that is accepting is our encrypted body, which is obviously our body field on the message model. This remember we did encryption for confidentiality between users. Whenever they send message and receive message, only they should understand what they've sent, and not even the admin of the site. When they go into the database, should be able to understand what they have sent. So our view is obviously patched because we are updating. Permission classes is authenticated. Obviously you have to be authenticated to be able to edit a message. That we are basically saying that you want to edit a message, that means it has to be something that has been created before. It has to be a message that has been sent before. So only if you are authenticated, that is when you should be able to do such. So first step, user equals to request the user as usual, getting the current user that is logged in into the system. Then the profile instance of the user, get object of all profile user equals to user. Message is going to be message dot objects dot get id dot pk. So basically we are passing pk, which is primary key, into our urls, the edit message url, int, that is integer, pk primary key. So we are basically passing it into the request body, like the edit message function. Basically it is taking request and pk, and then it uses those two things that it is taking to like do everything that is under here. So message object to get id equals to pk. So basically we are trying to get the particular message that you are editing with the message id. So the first check that we do is if message the sender, that is the person that sends the message, if message the sender is not equals to profile, which is the current person that is logged in. So basically if the person that sends the message is not equals to the profile, that means return invalid request. That means you can't edit a message that you didn't send. I think that makes sense. Then our second check, remember we said like if the message that you've sent and that you want to edit currently now is over a day. So basically we're checking if time zone dot now, that is the current time that we are in, minus message dot date created minus the date that the message was created. So if what the time that we are now in minus the day that the message was created is greater than time delta, that is our time function basically, days time data accepts days, seconds, months, year, basically anything that has to do with like measurement of time. Time data is used for it. So if time total now minus message dot date created is greater than time data days equals to 1, that means if it is greater than 1 day, return the response that okay, message over a day cannot be edited, and that is going to return an HTTP response of bad request. Else, um, um, if these two checks are passed, that means if the person that is about to send the message is the person that created the message, sorry, if the person that is about to edit that particular message is the person that created the message, and if the message that you're about to edit is within a day, then proceed to update message serializer using the message the particular message object that we've obtained here, and data equals to request the data. Remember, the only field that is on this update message serializer is our encrypted body. So basically, that is the only field that will be updated with this field, with this field rather, with this function rather. So then we check if serializer is valid. If it is not valid, it is going to raise an exception. Then our validated body. Reason why we are doing this is because when we're sending message, we encrypted the message that we're sending. Now if we are about to edit the message, we don't want it to be in plain text, or suddenly because we edited it, we also still want it to be in an encrypted format. So basically we have to get the body field, that is the encrypted body field that the user has just passed in. So we do that with this validated data equals to serializer of validated data, body equals to validated data encrypted body, then message dot set body. Remember our message dot set body function on here basically encrypts the body with the cryptography of fairness and poor fairness. It encrypts the body, that is for set body. So basically we set our body, then we save it, and that is all. Then return response, data message equals to success, and data equals to body, that is the plain body, the plain text that the user sends, not the encipher text. So we return response data, then response code status of HTTP 200. Okay, so that's basically that for the edit message functionality. Then we have this edit read receipts. Now basically in our edit read receipts, basically it is automatically created whenever a new user is registered. Obviously, basically what we are just doing is okay, if you send message, do you want it, do you want it to be tracked if it has been read or if it has not been read? Basically that is what this read receipts model does. So profile equals to model the foreign key, profile related name, profile receipt, um null false, blank false. That is basically the owner of that particular read receipt. And if the read receipt is obviously going to be default equals to true. That means it's like when you just create a new WhatsApp account. Obviously, when you first send messages, your read receipt is always going to be on for users to be able to know the how do I put it, like if you've read their message or not. So if you now want it to be a situation where you don't want them to know if you've read their message or not, read receipt is going to be set. You can now edit read receipt support. So that's what we have here for this edit read receipt. That should be a tongue twister. Edit read receipts. Edit read receipts. Anyways, remember our swagger auto schema, method patch, read receipt serializer. Basically only one field. Loading again. Uh, what is going on? Alright. Read receipt serializer. Our read receipt. That's the only field that we're going to be showing, that we're going to be returning to the user to edit. Um so let's get into it. Edit receipt read edit Jesus. Edit read receipts. Request. Then user equals to request the user profile get object of call for mapping the profile instance to the particular user. We've gotten that message. I just used this as a variable name. I didn't really have, maybe I should have used read receipts, but all in small letters. But anyways, message is representing read receipts. The object will get profile equals to profile. So remember, the read receipt is created with profile. So it is not the user instance that is inheriting from, is inheriting from this profile that has been imported from profile models. So basically we get the profile of the current logged in user, then we get the read receipt for the current logged in user using this. So serializer is going to be equals to read receipts message blah blah blah. The same way we did it, returning the read receipts field to the user. So based on what the user gives us as inputs, then we can now do our checks. So serializer dot is valid reads exception equals to true, blah blah blah. Then serializer dot save. So we save the serializer that okay, we save the user's response. Okay, oh, I want my read receipts to be on, that is true. Okay, oh, I don't want my read receipts to be on, that is going to be false. So we also do our validated data, then it is from the validated data that we can now do our checks. So basically, WhatsApp has this feature where if you turn off your read receipts, all previous messages that has been in that chat, yeah, they automatically change from that blue tick to just this like plain tick where it doesn't show that it has been read or not. So basically that's what we're trying to do here. So if validated data read receipt equals to false, that means if the user changed from true to false, because remember our default for read receipt here is true. So if the user should change it to false, message, remember messages, I didn't use message because I already used message here. So messages is going to be message or object of filter sender equals to profile. So basically we're going to filter all messages that the user has sent, all messages that the user has sent previously, we filter it out. Then for each in those messages, that means for me in messages, I could have used underscore in messages, but for me in messages, that means for each of those messages that that user has already sent, then we now change their red attributes. Remember our red attributes here, default is false obviously because it's a new one, but if it has been marked as red before, then this whole line here from here to here is going to change them to false. That means if those messages were previously true, for each of them it will become false. Then we also go again to check all the messages that the user has received, because it is a two-way street. As long as the read receipt of one person is off, even if the read receipt of the other person is on, as long as the read receipt of one person in that chat is off, all messages read receipts, like all the messages in that chat should be off. Like okay, their red attribute should be off. That means that regardless of, even if user A read receipt is on and user B's read receipt is off, and the chat is between both of them, that means user A and user B is communicating. User A and user B's chat, all the messages in there, their read receipt should be off. That means their red attribute should be off. So basically, messages 2 is going to be equals to, we are featuring the message objects for all the message that the user received. Remember our profile. First, we first check that okay, all the message object or that the user sent, then this is all the message objects that the user received. So for mess in messages too, I could have done for me in messages too. I guess it would have worked, but for mess anyway, it still works. So for mess in messages two, mess dot read equals to false. That means every single message that the user has received also should change to false. Then we save it. Otherwise, what about in a situation where it was false and then we change it to true? That means if validated data read receipts equals to false. Now this was our initial check if it's equals to false, but if it's not equals to false, that means it equals to true. It is a boolean field, it can either be true or false. There's no third option. So if validated data read receipts equals to false, so if it is not equals to false and that is the else, basically we do the opposite of this. We also do the filter, sender equals to profile, we change all the red attribute of all previous messages true, because they are turning on their read receipt. So all the messages that they've read should also change to true because previously it was false. The same thing too here, all the messages that they have received change to true. Then we return our response status the HTTP 200, okay, that means it was successful. Then our mark as read, which is the last view in our messaging views. So basically, this is just to mark a message as read. That means if you've read a message, so you should just mark it as read. So obviously, we're going to be taking the ID of the message because I mean, there's no other way we can identify the particular message that we want to mark as read. Then user equals to request or user profile test, get object of 404 profile equals profile, then comma user equals to user, matching the profile with the particular user that is logged in. Again, message get object of 404, message and ID equals to key. Then if message to sender equals to profile.text. But basically what we're doing here is that now if I send a message and I also want to mark that message as read, it doesn't make any sense. Agreed? These are all the checks that we should be going through as we develop. So basically, if I send a message, it doesn't make any sense if I should also go there and mark that message as read. When even though the person that sent even though the person that is meant to read the message, even though the receiver has not marked it. So basically, if message to sender is equals to the current logged in user, then you cannot mark your own message as read. Then status equals to http forward bad request. L if this is another check. If message to receiver, L if that's else if message to receiver not equals to profile text. That means if the person that is logged in and passes in that ID into the URL. So basically, I log in into the system and then I pass in the ID of the particular message that okay, I want to mark this message as read, but I'm not the one that even received the message. You should return that invalid request to. You're not the one that received this message, so why are you marking it as read? So these are our two checks. If this passes, that means if it is not the person that sent the message that wants to mark the message as read, and if it is the person that is meant to receive the message that is receiving it, that means these two checks are passed. Then we can now proceed to do further checks again. So read receipt one, get object of 404, read receipt for the person that sends the message, profile equals to message of sender, then read receipt to get object of 404, read receipt, profile message the receiver. So remember when I was explaining about like as long as one person's read receipt is off, the chat, all messages in that chat should be off, like the read attribute of all the messages in that chat should be false. So if read receipt to one, if read receipt one, the read receipt equals to four, equals to false. Remember, read receipt one, that is the read receipt object, which is this rather, which is this. So if read receipt one or this read receipt, remember it is a boolean field. If read receipt one the read receipt equals to false, or not and, or read receipt two the read receipt equals to false, then the read attribute of that message should be false. Even though you came to come and mark it as read, it should still remain as false, because as long as one of these as long as one of these read receipts are off, as long as it is false, then the message read attribute should also be false. But in a situation where one of the attributes, like in the situation where both of them are true, that means this is true and this is true, the message read should be true. So if this is false and this is true, we'll still come here and the message read equals to false. If this is true and this is if this is true and this is false and this is false, it will still come here and mark your message read as message read equals to false. But if this is true and this is also true, then it will ignore this place, then come to this else block, mark the message read equals to true, save it and return response message success. So basically that is the newly added functionalities in our messaging system. Then I also did an additional thing in the profile views, so I'll be going there now. The first thing that I actually did was under the following. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, under the following. So basically, our followers profile. Yeah, remember that is the person I wants to follow, and then our following profile. So basically, what we are saying now is that in this line, I didn't add this initially, but I also saw it as a necessity eventually. So basically, if you are trying to follow yourself, if followers of profile equals to following profile, that means the person that wants to follow and the person that is meant to be followed, if they are the same person, then return this response. This is actually a joke. This won't happen in a professional setting, but just a joke to me. What is wrong with you? Following yourself, really? Because I mean, seriously, why would you want to follow yourself? I mean, in real life, yeah, but in a social media setting, like follow other people, not yourself. That's just like cheating the whole algorithm, the system basically. Anyways, let's forget about that. Now, down to our get follow suggestions. So basically, what inspired this was I noticed that if I am following somebody on Twitter and then the person is also following me back, Basically, if I go to my follow suggestions, I see the people that my mutuals follow. So basically, the people that I follow that follow me back. If I go to my get follow suggestions, all the people that are there are the people that they follow. So basically, let me explain like this: if user A, which is me, and user B, which is you, user A follows user B follows user A, and user B follows user C, but user A does not follow user C. Now, if user A should go to his follow suggestion, he's going to see user C because he follows user A, because he user A follows user B and user B follows him. So all the people that user B follows, he is going to see them. So basically, that is what this algorithm is based off of. This get follow suggestion algorithm is based off of. So let us walk through it. Obviously, it's going to be a get obviously it's going to be a get method, then permission classes is authenticated. So user equals to request or user. So profile, we are getting the current user that is logged in, and then follows is going to be get object or for follow list. Remember, our followers, the people that we follow and the people that are following us, are not directly under our profile model. There is a follow list table that is related to our profile model. So to explain what I mean, this is our profile model and our follow list, which takes in our followers and our following, relating pertaining to each user's profile. So basically, that's what we are doing here. So get object of follow list for that particular user that is logged in. So basically, now this follows contains my followers and the people that I follow. Then we create a list. Follow suggestions equals to an empty list, and then we do suggested IDs equals to set. So basically, this suggested IDs is basically to store the list of IDs that have been added to this follow suggestions. Why are we doing that? I will show you as we proceed in the code while I'm explaining. So basically, for people in follows the following the all. So for each person in my following, so that is for people in follows or following dot all. So this is my follow list here. So for each person in my follows the following dot all, what is follows the following dot all? That is the list of people that I follow. So for each person in the list of people that I follow, if each person, like going over each person, if they follow me back, that is if people in follows the follower dot all. So for each person in my following list, if each of those people follow me back, that means for each of those people that also follow me back, as it is like going forward and going backward. So like if I am following you and you are following me, basically my suggestions is going to be based off of the people that you follow. So suggestion is going to be get object of for follow list profile equals to people. That is you, the particular person. That is user B, like I was using that initial explanation. So user A. So for each person in users in the list of people that user A follows, if each of those people are also in his followers, the suggestion is going to be like, okay, follow list profile equals to people. So that means the follow list, remember our follow list contains the people that we follow and the people that we are following. So the people that we follow and the people that are following us. So we're going to get the follow list for the particular person that follows us back because we follow the person. So then remember, this follow list is also another list on its own. So for person in suggestions, now these suggestions contains the follow list of these people that follow us back because we follow them. So for person in suggestions the following the all, remember we did this for people in follows the following the all, that is for me, that is for user A. Now for person in suggestions the following the all, that is for user B, so that we can get access to user C, user D, user E, user F, and so on and so forth. So person followers going to be equals to get object of for follow list profile equals to person. Now naturally, what we are meant to just do is just to add the person to this follow list. But we don't just want to do that straight. We also want to do some additional checks. Now, the first check that we want to do is so if user A is following user B and user B is following user A, and user B is also following user C, but user A is also following user C, but user C does not follow user A. I hope you are not confused. So user A and user B, they are mutuals, so they follow each other. User B follows user C, user A follows user C, user A follows user C, but user C doesn't follow user A back. Now, in a situation where user A doesn't follow user C back, user C doesn't follow user A back, but user A follows user C, we don't want that user C to appear in the follow suggestions because obviously user A already follows user C. So that is the first check. That is one of the reasons why we're getting the follow list also of that person. So we firstly we get the follow list of user A, then we get the follow list of user B, then we also get the follow list of user C. So after we've gotten the follow list of user C, we do the first check that I have just explained. So if profile, that is user A, is in user C's followers, that means user A already follows user C. Then we also do another check, or profile equals to person. So obviously it is not going to make sense because we said user A follows user B and user B follows user A. So if we don't do this check, user A is also going to appear in the follow suggestions of user B, obviously because user B follows user A. We don't want that to happen. Or person ID in suggested ID. So person ID is basically if the person is appearing again in the suggested IDs, like the person that we are seeing, we've already previously seen the person in previous suggestions. So like I was saying, user A follows user B follows user A follows user C follows user A, B follows D, C follows D. Now while iterating, user B already follows user D. So that means it's already added to the follow suggestion. But because user C follows user D, it would also be added to the follow suggestions again. But we don't want that to happen. We don't want user D to appear twice in our follow suggestion. So we do this check. That is why we added the suggested IDs. So basically, if the person ID is already in our list of suggested IDs, then pass. That means do not add the person to that follow suggestion. So going over it again, our first check is if profile. That means if the person that is about to get the list of follow suggestions is already in the particular person that is meant to be returned followers, or the profile is also equals to the person that is about to be suggested, or the person has already been suggested before, do not add that person to the follow suggestions. But if you pass these three, that means you do not meet any of these three requirements, then add the person to the follow suggestion. And then obviously we add the suggested IDs again. We add the person's IDs to suggested ID so that we can use it for our check here. So if follow suggestion is empty, we do no follow suggestions available. But if it is not empty, then we return response follow suggestions. So those are the new views that we've added. I think this is the end of the project. I don't think there are any other features that I want to add to the app. I don't think there are any other features. If I have a new project coming out, you guys will see it on the channel anyways. Yeah, yeah. This has already been pushed to GitHub, by the way. The code is already on GitHub, so you guys can check it out and yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you and see you guys in the next video.